Hello everyone. I am Rahul Singh, Senior Fund Manager, the LIC Mutual Fund, and I'm really glad to be a part of Cafe Mutual Conference this year. The big question that right now, everyone has is that, equity market has rallied a lot in last 1 year, and now it's the time to move on to debt. But what are the factors that an investor needs to look into, when investing in a debt market? Obviously, there are a lot of other things that one needs to look at, but there are very four basic things that any investor can track on a regular basis, and that would give them clues as to, what are the things that needs to be looked in debt market, and how to plan their investments from the debt market perspective. So let me just take you to four simple things, and then I'll take each one of them separately. Now, global banks across the globe, like RBI in India, US Fed in US, every global bank, every global central bank have one common mandate. That is to provide stability to the market and reduce any kind of volatility. So, a natural reaction to a COVID-19 kind pandemic was to flush the system with a lot of liquidity. The reason was that when a liquidity crisis takes place, or when any crisis takes place, the major impact comes to the small scale sectors, the various sectors that we have in the economy. So by infusing liquidity into this kind of scenario, gives comfort to these sectors so that they don't face the impact of such a big large scale crisis. Now that's why RBI in March 2020 they came up with a lot of liquidity infusing measures like repo cut, reverse repo cut. Then there was the LTROs, the TLTROs, as well as loan moratorium. So basically, the idea was to infuse the system with a lot of liquidity. Now, one drawback of such a scenario is that the levels fall drastically. So if you see last year, the debt market rallied a lot. So if you just compare the levels, with the pre-COVID pandemic type of levels, you see that every security across the curve, right from short end to the longer end, they fell by a margin of 200 to 400 basis. Now there was a huge rally, and it eventually made a lot of money for investors in the debt market segment. But this kind of scenario was a unique scenario and had to be done to face the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. But as and when things start shaping up and getting better, like we have it right now that the COVID infections are down, then we have people getting vaccinated, and very soon we'll have a lot of people in our country getting vaccinated. What happens is that what are the steps that RBI had taken last year, they would start slowly, bringing it back. They would start, again, bringing it back to the normal levels, which was like if the level of liquidity that is there in the system, which is in the range of 7 to 8 lakh crores, they would want to bring it back to the pre-COVID levels, which was around the 2 lakh crore margin. So when that scenario happens, the yield will start going up. For example, recently, if you have tracked the MPC policy, you'll find that RBI had made a very major announcement with respect to a VRR. VRR is basically a variable reverse repo cut. So the idea is to reduce the liquidity that is there in the system. So RBI started by reducing the system liquidity by 2 lakh crores, and every fortnightly they plan to increase that amount by 50,000 crores, eventually leading up to 4 lakh crores by end of September. And then when we have the next policy in the month of October, they would again take a call as to what needs to be done, and then take steps from there. So when the level of liquidity in the system reduces, the yields, or the level of the interest rate at which securities are available in the market, they start inching upwards. Because if there's simple demand and supply economics, if there's more supply of money, obviously people will chase a lot of assets. And when the supply of money reduces, the assets which are there in the market, they will start giving you a higher level of interest, a higher level of yield. So this is one factor that one needs to look into, while tracking their debt investments, as to what kind of statement or what kind of policy that RBI is taking and RBI is giving. Every 2 months we have this RBI policy where RBI governor takes over, and he gives an indication of what is committee members or what are the MPC, which is the Monetary Policy Committee members, are thinking, and what are they going to do about this particular situation. So that is the one indicator that that as and when things getting better, with more and more people getting vaccinated and less number of infections, the RBI would try to reduce the level of liquidity in the system. So that's an indication that level would rise. Another factor that one needs to look into is the inflation levels. Now, why inflation is important? Inflation basically is the level of purchasing power. The higher the inflation, the less is your purchasing power. So one important, I would say one important after effect of the COVID-19 was that there was a nationwide lockdown, and a lot of economic activities went down to almost nil. Even after lockdown opened, economic activity, I mean, they still took time to come to the fact that there was lockdown and the economic activity was down. It started picking up, and recently we see that as more and more activities are opening up in the economy, more and more things are getting there are more restrictions which are coming out. So people are now going and buying stuff. There's more demand for stuff in the economy, and that's what it starts converting into the inflation level. Because first of all, because of RBI, you have ample liquidity in the system that is giving easy money to people or industries, and that money is being used to generate more growth, more production, more demand, which is in turn fueling our inflation levels. But that's why you see recently inflation has gone up. It has been going above 6%. Only recently it came down to 5.69, but that again is a higher level, because RBI's comfort level of inflation is around between 4 to 6% levels. So even then, with the 5.69 number, the inflation level is on the higher side. And going ahead also, because of the economic activity increasing, because of lot of all the things going back to track than what it was during COVID-19 pandemic, inflation is going to go up. So as inflation goes up, RBI would obviously start taking measures to reduce this level of inflation, because it ultimately reduces the purchasing power of the end users, end consumers or industries. So when that happens, that also gives you an indication that yes, now the yields are going to go up. This is the second thing that any investor needs to look into, that what is the kind of inflation expectations that RBI governor is communicating in its policy, and what are the numbers that are coming on a every monthly basis. So the moment you see that inflation is on the 5 to 6% bracket, it is on the higher side. So that's what RBI has communicated, that we will be comfortable with the 4 to 6% level. And as long as you are more than 5%, it indicates that yes, we are on the higher inflation cycle, and RBI would certainly take some steps to bring that inflation down to close to 4% level or even below. So that's the second thing that every investor needs to look into, as to what is the inflation level in the economy. If that is on the higher side, then that surely indicates that the levels are rising, and eventually RBI would take some policy to reduce that inflation level. The third thing which any investor needs to look into is the kind of borrowing that the government is doing. Now, government, they have their tax revenues, but whatever shortfall that they have, they cover it up by borrowing it from the market. Now they borrow it through RBI, which is their central bank, which is their bank. Now RBI usually borrows on behalf of the government. So when that happens, last year government had a shortfall, a major shortfall. First of all, because of the nationwide lockdown, their income tax revenues, their tax revenues, their indirect tax revenues went down. At the same time, the government had to give out a lot of subsidies and a lot of push to major sectors, because they got impacted by COVID-19. So as a result of which, government expenses went up and their revenues came down. And there was a huge shortfall which government had to cover. So last year, as per the budgeted numbers, government was supposed to borrow roughly around 6% of their GDP. But eventually, because of this COVID-19 pandemic, that borrowing went up to almost 10%, was 9.7 to be precise. So this indicates that RBI, on behalf of government, would like to borrow more. When they do that, obviously that money is borrowed from the market. Who are these investors? These are the corporations, mutual funds, the banks, the primary dealers. They're the ones who buy more. When such a scenario happens, obviously, if there's more supply of paper, if someone wants to borrow more than required, obviously it indicates that the investor would want a higher level of interest, because the supply is more. So just to give you a perspective, usually historically, RBI has never borrowed more than 7 to 8 lakh of crores, on a yearly basis. But this year, because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the falling government, revenues, that borrowing went up to almost 14 lakh crores, which means that there's a increase of 6 lakh crores, that RBI would want to borrow on behalf of the government. But this certainly indicates that if the borrowing level is there, obviously the investors, the end investor, which are the mutual funds, the banks or the PDs, they would want to, they would expect a higher level of interest. And if that happens, obviously the yields in the overall yields in the market would start going up. So this is a third indicator that any investor should look into, that what is the kind of borrowing that RBI is doing on behalf of the government. If this level is the higher side, obviously it indicates the level is going to rise. The fourth factor that one needs to look into is the global scenario. Now, I understand I'm talking about RBI and our Indian economy, But everything that happens globally has an impact on our domestic market as well, because everything is linked. And especially whatever happens in the US market, because US is the biggest economy in the world, as well as they have the reserve currency, the US dollar. So if the yields start rising in the US market, or the US 10-year yield starts rising, that also indicates that it will have an impact on our domestic yields. Now, if you remember 2013, when the US Fed decided that they would start tapering their quantitative easing, because they had done quantitative easing, at the time of the financial crisis. That is, they was giving liquidity by buying assets from the banks and other major players. So when 2013, when they decided, okay, now it's the time that we need to, cut down this liquidity that we are giving to the market, there was immediate impact in our market where the RBI governor had to, increase the rates by 300 basis points or 3% overnight, and that had a huge impact on our domestic yields. So as and when the US yields rise for whatever reasons, you will find that happening at an impact on our domestic economy. So right now, US again, just like India, it got impacted by COVID-19, but the rate of vaccinating people there is on the higher side. Till now, if I remember, around 50% people are vaccinated. Their unemployment numbers are down. There are more and more people coming back to the economy to join the workforce. That itself indicates that they are right back on the growth path. And if that continues, then automatically US would start cutting back on their quantitative easing, which indicates that US yields will rise and eventually it will have an impact on our domestic economy. So these are 4 things that I think any investor should look into while investing in a debt market, and what are the steps they need to take to manage their investment. Of course, there are silver linings that we need to look into. The biggest silver line that we have right now is that although RBI is the inflation monitoring agency, but they would still want to focus on growth, and they said that repeatedly over every of the policy. So right now, even in India, we have a situation where, if you see the both the doses, it's still around 10%, and that will take time, for the entire country to get vaccinated. So whatever steps that they take would be slow and gradual. It will not be an overnight jerk, because RBI understand that at this stage, any steps, drastic steps, that they take, it would eventually hurt the economic growth. So whatever step they take would happen eventually. Even the 2 lakh crore of VRR that they announced recently, they are increasing by only 50,000 crores on a fortnightly basis to reach around 4 lakh crore by end of September. And then they will take a stock of situation as to how the situation is evolving, and provided there are no major disruptions. So whatever steps that happen now globally as well as domestically, it will be slow and gradual. US has already announced that, whatever rate hike that they see, they don't see it before 2023. And before that, they would take a call on the tapering of their quantitative easing, and that would also depend on the data. So everything would be slow and gradual. This is the kind of silver lining that investors should see and can understand that that rate hike or level rising would be slow and gradual. So they would get ample time to manage their investment, take stock of the situation, and accordingly start moving out of higher duration and move to a lower duration kind of products. That is something we as a fund house also promoting, that right now for next 1 year at least, it is the lower end duration products like the liquid funds, the ultra short, the lower duration products, they would be in favor, and that's how we are positioning our funds. This is what I wanted to say and share with you all, and that's it from my side. Thank you.
Rahul, that was a very good presentation. I'll have 2 questions for you. You've suggested that for shorter duration funds, for shorter duration investments, put your money in liquid funds and short term for this thing. What about the investments that you need to make for a period of say 1 or 2 years? What would you recommend?
1 or 3 years. Yeah, so as I said, whatever steps that RBI takes or any other central bank takes, it will be slow and gradual, because they would also want to keep one eye on the growth of the country. It will not happen that as and when they start taking a step, it would eventually hurt the economy. So next 1 year, I see levels would start rising, but they will be slow and gradual. So next 1 year, one needs to be invested in a lower end. They should move out of the duration products and start investing in the lower end duration products, because that's where you will have a less impact of the mark to market that would eventually hit you because of the rising yields. So every investor should start looking into the shorter end products, which is like in the range of 3 to 6 months or 6 to 9 months. That kind of duration one needs to look into.
Okay. And what if your time horizon is 3 to 5 years? What would you recommend, Rahul?
So for 3 to 5 years at the current juncture, I think it is not advisable because, as I said, yields are going to rise, and it next 1 year is going to rise. So probably my advice would be that one needs to be invested in a low duration product for at least 1 year, and then once the yield starts rising and there's a positive action in terms of rate hikes by RBI, and plus there will be more clarity with respect to what US would do, then probably they can move into a BPD or a short term kind of product which is for a 3 year duration. But for the next 1 year, one should be invested in a low duration product like a low duration, which is 6 to 1 year of time horizon.
Okay, thank you, Rahul. That was for making such a lucid presentation. Thank you once again.
Thank you
Over
very
to
much.
you, Kavya.